Did you know that in the 1940s, thousands of Jews arrived in Trinidad and many of them lived in San Fernando? Several of these families lived in Monrepo, San Fernando because of a particular action by the government. In 1935, the Nazis in Germany began a process of Jewish marginalization, where Jews were banned from marrying non-Jews and their citizenship was removed, including their right to vote. As time progressed, more restrictions were brought in. Jews were banned from all professional occupations, and Jewish children were prohibited from attending the state schools. By 1940, the Nazis had established ghettos in the largest towns and cities across occupied areas. Leaving the ghetto was strictly prohibited. As time went on, food restrictions were introduced, and terrible conditions led to hundreds of thousands dying from disease or malnutrition, or the casual executions carried out by the Nazis. By December 1941, over 1.5 million Jews had been killed by beatings, starvation, or mass shootings. In 1942, the Nazis began the mass deportation of European Jews to extermination camps in German-occupied Poland, where they would then be murdered with the aim to exterminate all Jews in Europe. As a result of the Nazi persecution, Jews were desperate to flee from Europe. Between 1936 and 1939, many countries closed their borders to Jews seeking to flee the Nazi persecution and extermination attempts. Those countries that did accept Jews placed severe restrictions on the numbers and turned away the others. These countries included Great Britain, USA, Brazil, Cuba, the Netherlands, Switzerland, and Spain. Trinidad was one of the few places that Jews could easily enter, as it had a relatively lax immigration law. Jews only had to be in good health and pay a £50 deposit, which was refunded after 1 year. In January 1939, there were 600 Jews. By the end, it was estimated there were 6,000 Jews in Trinidad. In the 1940s, as the number of Jewish refugees in Trinidad swelled, the local government funded the construction of houses in Monrepo, expecting the refugees, who at the time were housed in camps during the war, to remain in Trinidad, where they would be given Trinidadian citizenship. Today, many of the houses can be seen in Monrepo, still in their original form. Although these houses have a modern outer wall appearance, there is an interesting fact. What is interesting about these houses is that they were built with tapia walls, and the walls were then initially covered with lumber. The later houses were also built with tapia walls and then covered with concrete plaster. Even now in 2023, some 83 years later, the tapia walls are still standing, as can be seen in the images of some of these houses. For those who do not know, tapia is a mixture of clay-like mud and grasses that are built up to form a wall. Although these Jewish refugees stayed in Trinidad, over time, many migrated to the UK, Canada, the the US and Israel, and this outward migration increased in 1970 as a result of the Black Power Revolution. Those houses that were unoccupied were eventually distributed to residents of San Fernando. The easiest of the houses to view can be seen at the entrance of Smith Street in Monrepo.